This is the Business of Apps podcast, bringing you actionable insights from the leaders of the global app industry and the world's fastest growing apps. You can find more app news, data and analysis over at businessofapps.com.
Welcome to the Business of Apps podcast. On this show, we invite app industry professionals to cover various topics. We promise to do our best to keep it both insightful but brief. In this episode, we have Aykut Bal, Head of Business at Storyly. Aykut, welcome to the Business of Apps podcast.
Hi, Art. Thanks for having me.
Terrific. Thank you for coming. All right. There's a number of ad formats that allow app marketers to connect their apps with users. And these are banners, interstitial, video, pop-up, pop-under. This one, quite frankly, I personally really don't like. And you may think you know them all. And there's no room for innovation. Wrong. There is. And Aykut is here to tell us about this story format. Aykut, to kick off this episode, let's talk about you first. How did you get into the world of mobile apps?
That is a nice question. Let me briefly introduce myself first. Maybe that might be better.
Sure.
I work for App Samurai Inc. as head of product for the last 3.5 years. And App Samurai brings a comprehensive approach to mobile growth with its 3 products, actually. And these 3 products touch the lives of mobile app marketers and product managers at different stages of the app's life cycle. Mm-hmm. The first product is user acquisition platform called App Samurai. And it brings hundreds of ad networks in a single dashboard and provides the best possible user acquisition campaigns for app owners. And the second one is Intercepted. So Intercepted is basically for fraud protection and prevention to protect the investments of mobile marketers because, fraud is a huge issue, and it's basically an advanced real-time fraud protection tool. And finally, Storyly, and it's my current focus actually. It takes about 25 hours a day. So Storyly is an engagement tool that helps mobile brands to keep their users engaged, active, and ultimately loyal in their app. So it brings the familiar experience of social native stories into any app and without almost any code and in only 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So my job as a product manager and personal passion is basically to understand the needs and pain points of anyone in the mobile world and managing an app. So for the past 2 years, I've been focused on how apps work to retain their users and what is working against them to accomplish this. I find these questions crucial because, although user acquisition is essential, mobile growth comes with retention. And during these 2 years, the concept of pandemic come to our lives, and for some industries, this resulted in an accelerated and maybe unpredicted growth. However, these businesses might be struggling to sustain this trend, right? And they even might have difficulties in keeping and retaining these very recent customers. And on the flip side, some apps had to adjust and rethink constantly to fight the uncertainty of this past year. So the question of how to engage users was at the center of it all, basically. And when you fail to achieve engagement, you are doomed to lose these people, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's the name of the game. At least for the last 5-6 years, I've been hearing the same story that we've passed this moment where people were only interested in getting more downloads for the apps. They were not they weren't thinking what's going to happen next after the app app has been downloaded on a specific mobile phone. What will be the interaction? Are these people will be real users? We're kind of obsessed with the numbers. That time is completely gone. Like I said, for 5-6 years in a row, we've been talking about what are we doing with people who have downloaded the app. What happens next? Are they using the app? How frequently? What doesn't work? What they don't like in the interface? What maybe stopping them from using the app frequently? And why do, quite frankly, they just go away from the app the next day? This damn figure of mobile churn, where so little fraction of folks keep using your app after first day for 7 days. And like the whole industry, people who are really, who do understand the significance of that issue, they're trying their best to find the best recipe for their app to keep people engaged. So, Storly, do you guys cover every platform I can think of about social media? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok?
I mean, basically, Story is for apps, and the app owners can bring their stories from other platforms to their applications, of course, that's one thing. But we let them create their own stories for in-app environment as well. So basically, we can we are a new channel for them, you know. So I think this is the correct metaphor for this.
Right. So basically, app owner, you're giving him the tool, the platform to inject content that is being published on the company's accounts, and it doesn't matter what specific social media platform. Your tool basically covers them all. You're giving them a nice format to plug that content into the app and make it part of the experience between the user and the application.
Exactly, that's one part. And also they can create some stories from scratch in the tool itself. So we provide them a studio actually.
So, and doing all that, like I said, engagement has been on the people's mind for a number of years. And you're opening a new page, bringing the story format into the app, helping app developers, app marketers to engage the users of their apps in a new way. So in your opinion, how store format is capable to bring something new, does something that other measures, other tools do not allow app marketers to do?
So it's a nice question, but Story, I think, is not a direct substitute for these outside of app marketing channels. You know, marketing needs to have an omni-channel strategy today. So you need to communicate with your users in different channels, and you need to cover all the stages of user from acquisition to churn. And I mean, it should focus on decreasing churn to most possible extent. That's the main goal, right? So there's a famous point of view in marketing growth. The cheapest way to grow is not just acquiring new users in cheapest way, but retaining them inside the app. If you retain them, then you can grow. So all retention tools out there are just focusing on conversions and nothing else. There's where the importance of Story lies actually, because in-app marketing with Story gives you a lot more than just communicating your grand sale campaigns or promotions. Story customers are able to create real and interactive, two-sided and meaningful relationships with their users. They ask for product feedback. They show educational videos. They do quizzes to gamify the experience. They use their influencers in stories and many more, you know. And of course, all the conversion-related ones are available in our world as well. So it's not limited just for quizzes, etc. You can use it for conversions. You can use it to build a relationship with your users. So to this end, the first thing that comes to my mind as the biggest differentiation point is personalization, of course. Let's think about a couple of use cases. Celebrating your user's birthday, all right? Or giving some specific information according to what they have checked during the onboarding process of your app. So, of course, this type of content increases the loyalty level of your users. That's why I said that you are trying to make your users ultimately loyal. So today, people want to feel unique in a sea of sameness. You know, there are tons of apps out there, and to the extent that you can have a personal communication with them, and your app becomes an important part of their lives, and they won't be willing to give up on that easily.
Absolutely. I remember the App Store a few years ago when Boy, so it was an impression that so many ideas weren't covered, weren't converted into apps. So many opportunities were, to start something from scratch, to be a pioneer, the trailblazer in a specific area, solving a specific problem. Today, with a couple million apps on both stores, iOS and Android combined, it feels like every single permutation of an idea is being implemented into the app. Some folks do a better job, some folks do a not so good job, but it's really hard to distinguish yourself from the rest because like no matter how you're brainstorming your idea, you have a kind of limited resources to implement, to build an app that will be really game changer for your business. And to stand out from the rest, you need fresh ideas. And story format, this is a fresh idea. And what I like that you're saying, this is there's a communication between, it's not just, passive consumption of the content you're providing your users. People will be able to give their feedback. You can actually communicate with them, which is always helpful. This is not, you get a chance to get to the minds of your users, see what actually they're interested in, how they're interacting with your app, and not even using tools like screening their experience with the app and checking those recordings, but actually getting their feedback, right?
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. It's a huge differentiation point for us.
All right. So my next question is this. There are certain channels, formats, marketing techniques that are kind of, they're not covering the entire field of apps. They work great for big brands, or they may work only for indie developers, small startups. Story format. Are we talking about the format that is equally great for both, for big brands and small folks?
I mean, in short, anyone who owns a mobile app can use Story. But of course, big brands have their content teams, marketing teams, sales teams, etc. And people might think that like publishing in-app stories requires such huge human resources for the daily operation. But in Story, we provide an automation features to enable small or medium-sized app owners as well. They can bring their social media posts or blogs or any kind of data feeds and turn them into lovely stories in their app. Like these are all automated flows. And we have a lot of clients with less than 25K monthly active users, and some of them are using Story for just onboarding, nothing else. And again, we have many clients, mostly content apps, who automated the creation process and do monetization by showing programmatic ads as stories between the content stories, just like Instagram. And yes, we have many enterprise clients, and they manage all personalized content in Story, and they use it for personalized messages, A/B tests for their brand messages, and so on. So it's pretty much a direct channel to communicate with their users. That is the meaning of Story for enterprise.
Gotcha. Now let's think for a quick second, what may go wrong? Can you think of any mistakes that app marketers should be aware of when they decide to use the story format in their app?
Of course, you can mess that up, there are possibilities, of course. But the thing is, Story provides a second dimension inside your app, and basically app owners define the rules of that part, because user click on the cover image and then see whole screen experience, and in that whole screen you can do pretty much anything. You can generate your own environment. You have the studio, you have the tools, you can do anything. But of course, using a lot of text in a format which uses time as a main part of the experience is against common sense. You shouldn't add too much text on that. Visuals, and especially videos, are always more attractive for the end user. And you can use visuals to redirect users to keep these text-heavy contents. Let's say you have a blog post and there are tons of articles in that. So you can redirect your users to that blog from your visual-heavy stories. one other thing might be like using Storyly just for campaign communication. It's like using a Tesla to till the soil, Yes, you can do that, but come on.
Right.
I mean, you can do a lot of great stuff with that. So to protect our clients from these rabbit holes, our customer engagement team always jumps in and gives ideas and best practices regularly to them. But yeah, once you start playing around with various sort of features, you get to know what kind of new world this is with infinite number of possibilities. Yeah.
All right. I hope people do take notes. And from now on, the story format will be on the radar as the tool for app engagement and can be that tool they've been looking for to solve problems they've been fighting with and basically weren't able to finally make a breakthrough. And this is going to be that tool they were looking for. Now we're in this. Now we're in the part of the show where I'm just going to ask you a few cool questions that are not related to the topic we were just discussing.
Right.
I do it with every guest on this show. I just want people who are listening to this podcast can get a little bit better picture of who are my guests. Just a few quick questions. Question number one, what smartphone do you have now? Have you been switching between iOS to Android and back or not?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm using iPhone 12 mini right now. I really like the design and the size. Yeah, which is pretty similar to iPhone 5. Probably you remember that as well. And like the good part of that is like using it in one hand, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But since I am a product guy, I am using both Android and iOS at work. But in my personal life, I belong to Apple ecosystem. I mean, I use all of their tools basically.
Gotcha. That's a good point. Our hands are still of the same size. Our thumbs are still the same length.
Yeah.
So the format still should be the same if you want to give people one hand user experience and not just grabbing your phone with two hands to be able to manage your device. Now, do you still remember your first mobile phone?
All right, let me think about it. I mean, the first one I had a chance to use was an Ericsson T28. Like it was a long phone, but our neighbor had that. But the first one I owned was Nokia 3310. I mean, it was a huge hit at that time, 3310. The color of it, blue in that phone. I mean, that was my first love.
That was the quote-unquote iPhone to pre-smartphone era.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, imagine you've left your smartphone at home right now. You go out. What would be your missing feature for that phone?
All right. So, like for all the communication tools, apps, we have another tool, but I guess I need to confess, like I am one of the few people on earth still playing Pokemon Go. So probably I'll miss Pokemon Go, I really love to play Pokemon Go with my phone.
Oh, nice. I thought the whole thing just died off. That's great to see some people still into this stuff. It's
really few people, yeah.
All right. Now, when you're looking at your nice iPhone 12 mini, can you think of anything that you're kind of waiting to be implemented by Apple? It could be hardware or software for this device to be more efficient for you?
I mean, it already started. I'm really interested in sensors and chips in the phone. And like right now, all the machine learning activities, AI activities are available in phone, not in the cloud. So that's an important part, I guess, because like it's not cool to bring all of the people's data to cloud and like merge them. Instead of that, maybe like having a decent privacy option and using this machine learning in the phone might be the new thing for the next couple of years, I guess. But yeah, I think the sensors and the chips, iPhone 12 is not the best one out there, I know, and probably they're working on new stuff already, and I'm really curious about that. But yeah, I mean, when you have machine learning and AI inside the phone, probably there will be more personalized and connected apps which can combine the sensor data from our phones and some IoT devices, some other devices, with comprehensive approach to recommend some stuff to us, right?
Right.
It's a bit dangerous at some level, but it's exciting as well. I mean, I'm really curious about it. And it changed the paradigm of living, I guess, because now, like, I think when we get bored of consuming the best, because now we are getting used to consume the best option, there will be more crazy stuff like TikTok, people will get bored and do some different things. So I'm really curious about the next couple of years, next couple of 10 years, maybe.
Right. I do agree with you that being able to have the most of features directly on your phone to have this device to be powerful enough from both hardware and software, so it doesn't need the cloud to be able to do things that are related to your personal information. It's a good bulletproof technique from server hacking. No company is actually immune from being hacked, even Apple. It's just a matter of time, and folks are trying to do their best job to be really on their toes and react quickly, but there's always a chance. So when your device physically in your pocket and it's not connected with features that are working on your personal information, it's always safer than just rely on the cloud. I do agree with you, absolutely. All right. Before I let you go, just a very final question. How can people get in touch with you and get more information about what you guys do?
I mean, anyone can reach me via email or LinkedIn. My email address is aykut@appsamurai.com. EYKUT is my name. And you can search me on LinkedIn with my name as well, Aykut Bal. So my last name is Bal. And for what we are doing, you can check story.io. So story.io contains all the information about what we are doing. There are case studies, there are some use cases, and you can directly sign up for the platform, check that out on yourself. And even you can download our showcase app to see stories in action that you created inside the dashboard without integrating anything to your app.
All right, great. We will put all this information into the notes for the episode so people can check it out. Don't worry. And that's it. Thanks, Art, for your time and coming on our podcast, Aykut. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Art. It was great to talk with you.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. And that was Aykut Bal, Head of Business at Storyly. To listen to more episodes, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Just search for Business of Apps and you will find us easily. We release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you'll be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review or comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Apps podcast. For more, head on over to businessofapps.com.